Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Hugo Souza, I'm from Portugal, and this is the Xpeng G6 diaries. We are about to start a trip, a family trip to Porto. It's around 300 and something kilometers from here, and we have already charged the car. It's at 100%. Well, it's being heated right now, so probably we will start with 99 or something like that. But it is what it is. I will record everything that is happening on this trip. The charging, we are going to have a charging stop, but I will show you in a moment. And that's it. Let's load the car with the bags and start the trip. Let's configure here some things very quickly. So we are going to reset here trip A. So as you can see, we are at 99%. It's stated 430 kilometers WLTP. So we are already hitting the car, so that's why we have already reduced a little bit. But let's consider it 100% for the sake of the consumption calculations. And let's see, I don't have here good network, but let's see if I can already configure the route. So he's saying that we are going to charge one time for just 8 minutes. I doubt that this will happen like this because it's saying that we will charge at 350 kilowatts. So it's very strange. But let's see what happens and let's start the trip. Okay guys, so we have started our trip. We are in the beginning, we are already in the highway. I will read you here the navigation because I think that he didn't consider the changes that I made on the road trip planner in terms of the percentage of battery that I want to have when I arrive. So I will exit now the trip planner and let's do again the search to this place. I'm not sure if he's considering already the planning that was there. I think so. It has already a stop there. So let's do a different way. So let's find here. Okay, here. Okay, I'm starting with just the address. Starting. And now I will ask for charging stations. And it's giving me this one. I think it's more or less the same, but let's start and let's see what happens now. So what the navigation is telling us is that we are going to travel for 260 kilometers and then make a stop, and then we will arrive at the destination with 97 kilometers of battery. So let's see if this happens. If we need, we will change then the planning and stop before. I did this planning at home first because this is our first road trip, and I used another tool, but it was making me go in a different highway that has it's the oldest highway in Portugal, and it has a bunch more of charging stations. So I'm a little bit afraid that on this one we don't have as much as on the other, but let's see. We are just trying, so let's see the experience, how it goes, and if we have any problem we will of course exit before and charge in any other place. And let's see, we have reached 50 kilometers of our trip. We still have 260 to go. We are in the more or less in the plan, so we have lost around 4 or 5 kilometers of range. We have currently a consumption, let me show you, a consumption on the since start of 20.6 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, and and we have made 54 kilometers on this trip. I have already activated the self-drive mode, so currently it's set to 120 kilometers, and it's also with the lane central control, so it's keeping me in the lane. We have reached 100 kilometers and we currently have a consumption since start of 21.4. So we have made 105 kilometers until now, and we still have around 215 to go. As I said before, this planner, so the included planner in the navigation of the car, I'm not, well, it is the first time that I am using it, so probably I can even be doing something wrong here, but it's not giving me the confidence that I was expecting for this trip. Because when I started the trip, as I mentioned, he considered just a charging stop, but very close to the destination, so around 50 kilometers close to the destination. And I have already made a refresh here, so if we click on this button here, it will refresh the planning, and it will give me a message here saying that the current battery level is not sufficient to reach first charging station. Well, based on the conditions that I said, that it is with 30% of battery. So if I press OK, it will recalculate, and now it's saying that I will stop in a charging station of 140 kilometers from where I am now. Okay guys, so we have 180 kilometers made. We still have 12 kilometers left on the battery. I have changed this from WLTP to dynamic so that we have the correct range estimated. So it's more or less aligned with what the car is consuming. So we are currently with 22 kilowatts hour per 100 kilometers. So as this is a standard range, it has 66 kilowatts of battery. So I have changed here the trip plan, and we are going to leave now the highway to go to a charging station, because I asked to be charged at around 30%. So it is what the car is telling me. To be honest, I'm not enjoying much the planner on the car, because it changed this charging spot. For me, it's okay that, because it is analyzing the energy that we have in the car, so it's normal that he adjusts. But he now made something like adjusting to 2 stops. I don't know why. And because he is asking me just to stop here for 5 or 6 minutes, and then stating that I don't have enough power to reach the stop 2. So it doesn't make sense. So he's adding just this stop for very small time, and then telling me that I have to stop again, but not having enough range to reach there. So it doesn't make sense. So I will stop, I will charge, and then start the charge, and then I will look again for the map and to the trip planner to see if I'm missing something here, or if this is in fact a problem in the planner of the Xpeng G6. So guys, we have stopped now in the charging station. So as you can see, we have 188 kilometers made in 1 hour and 56 minutes. The average consumption here is 21.7, and we have 34% of battery remaining. And for the trip itself, we are still at 130 kilometers to the final destination. So it would be almost possible to reach there. So let's start the charging. Let's bring it's authenticating. Let's go. I'm using Electroverse for this. It's preparing to charge. So 34, it detected 400. So it's getting ready, and it's working now. So guys, here we are already charging. So it is charging at almost the full power, so 96 kilowatts. So it's the limit of this charging station, and it says that needs 43 minutes to reach 100%. We are not going to reach 100%, so we are at until 130 kilometers from the destination. So we will just leave it charging here. I will have a coffee with my family. Here we are, having a small snack. Well, not small, as you can see, while it's charging the car. Already in the car, my family is still ending the small snack break, and I'm waiting for them, so I will keep charging until they arrive. So it's 10 almost 10:15 of the morning, so I think we are charging for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I need to check the time when we started, but it is already at 86%, so it would be still remaining 17 minutes to 100. We don't need to be that far charged, but I'm waiting for the family, so I will just keep pushing more energy inside the car. So we have already enough energy to arrive to the final destination. So again, it was like a 20-minute stop to eat, go to the toilets and eat something, and we are ready to go. So no big hassle here, in fact. I will continue this trip using the trip planner of the car, but I have already checked also on the A Better Route Planner app that I have already connected to the car. I will do a separate video on that, and it says that it's also straight away, and I will arrive around 30% of battery to the final destination. So let's plan again the trip. My family is arriving, so let's greet them. Hello, let's go. Let's go. Family is entering in the car now, and we have charged, as you can see, almost 40 kilowatts. It's already reduced the power, so 90%. Let's stop. Okay, let's do stop here, and it stopped. And let's go. So here we are. So we charged 172 kilometers, so we have now 280 more or less. We keep this in 21.7 kilowatt hour range, so as you can see, 90%. The time is 10:16. We will take more 1 hour and 10 minutes more or less to arrive. We have 120 kilometers to make, and the trip planner says that we are going to arrive at the final destination with 151 kilometers still in the car. Let's see. Another thing that I noticed is that, let me put here on the consumption. So this car has this problem. I already mentioned this in some of my videos, that it doesn't have a trip counter for the consumption. So even if I reset here the trip, that you can see we have made already 200 kilometers, it doesn't show here anything related to that. And as we stopped for a quick snack, the since start that we were using until now reset. So now it is considering only 13 kilometers. So we lost all the information from before. Fortunately, I have recorded it, so we can make then the math for the full trip manually after. So I will do the calculations on the consumption and the amount of kilometers made, so that we can then wrap up the trip with the consumption values and how the car behaved on these conditions. But as you can see, this would be very useful to have in the car, so that we could have just one or two, because we have two trips. So we have trip A and trip B. We could have two more here, so that we could have this consumption calculated based on the trip that we are. So guys, a quick note here, I activated the level 2 driving, self-driving here in the highway, and as you probably know, the Xpeng does 2 levels. One is cruise control, adaptive cruise control, that it's just keeping the car in a speed that is defined, and then adapts based on the cars that are in front of you and the distance that you prefer for that. And then it has a level 2 that includes a LCC setting, that it's basically keeping you inside the lane, and so it will turn for you. It has also another feature that it's very useful, that is the auto switch lanes. Okay, so you are driving, and if you feel the need to overtake a car in front of you or just change the lanes, you can just signal that intention, and the car will automatically identify if it's possible to change the lane or not, and it will do it for you. Hey guys, it's important to say that to do the line change, you need to have in the dashboard that signal there, the gray signal, saying that it is possible to use that lane change assist. As you are seeing now, we have the self-driving defined to 120 kilometers per hour, but as we have a car in front of us, our car is slowing down to 95, 90, because it's what the car in front of us is letting us. I have defined 1 as distance to the car, that's why we are very close. And now I will perform a lane change. Let's see it, the car it's detecting a possibility, and it's doing it by itself, and it's already increasing the velocity to overtake this truck. And here we go. So we now have already the car at 120, and let's keep it going because we have another truck here in front of us. Let's just go through it and then go back to the lane, and I will not do anything. And I will do now the lane change. So I'm signaling the car, it identifies, and it's doing it by itself. And that's it. So we are back in our lane at our speed and doing self-drive mode. Doing a quick update on our trip. We are at 40 kilometers more or less of the final destination, so 43, and 37 minutes to arrive, because we are at 20 kilometers from Porto. We have made already 90 kilometers on 51 minutes, and we still have 178 kilometers of range with almost 60% of battery remaining. So the trip planner says that we will reach with 146 kilometers to the final destination. I have been driving mostly on level 2 self-driving, and I will then at the end of this trip do my evaluation on this, but I can say you that it is very conservative. As you can see now, we are reaching here a turn. It's a normal turn for a highway, but the car it's braking. So now it's already at 120, but it's reduced the speed, so it's very conservative. I know from what I have been reading that the new version, the 5.6 that will arrive in April, will bring more a driving experience, a more smooth driving experience, but for now, to be honest, it is a little bumpy, so it is always slowing down, then speeding up again, so it's not as comfortable as it should be. Here we are already in Porto. We are at 2 kilometers for our final destination, and then we will do some tasks here inside the city. We have made 317 kilometers here. and with currently an average consumption still at 22, but we will do the math then after. We have reached the final destination here in Porto, and now we are just doing some quick round trips here to do some errands. But just to give you the information for now, so we have made since the charging 130.9 kilometers, time 1 hour and 35, and we are having an average consumption that the trip computer is giving of 21.8 kilowatts hour per 100 kilometers. And we have currently the battery state at 45% and with a dynamic range of 138. So I will use this information then to make the calculations. And in the trip computer we have made until now 320 kilometers. So we end this trip, 300 kilometers to Porto trip. And I would like to make some remarks on the experiences and behavior of the Xpeng G6 that we had. So let's start with one very good thing. It was the comfort. So everybody in the family, including myself, driving it, we loved it. It's very comfortable. It's very quiet. It's very nice. There are some topics that need to be addressed with Xpeng. So let's start with the navigation system and the planner. So regarding navigation, I think it's a very good system. I didn't saw anything bad on it. The exit lanes, everything, it's very good. In terms of planner, there are some situations that need to be addressed. So first, let me say that I made some mistakes. When I was putting the address, I was using an existing planned trip I made for test purposes. So I believe that the system got a little bit confused because the data was a little bit different in the state of charge, etc. But I would expect that the system itself would understand that the state of charge was different than the previous one that was tested, and it would adjust, but it didn't. But as soon as we recalculated, it started giving better information. Anyway, I noticed that when using WLTP for this type of trips and when we are consuming more than it is expected as on WLTP, the information is not correct and it brings errors to the planning of a trip. Because, for instance, when you have 50% of battery, he is expecting you to have a range of half of the WLTP range that it's existing, that it's half of 435. But that's not the reality, because as you are driving at 22 kilowatt hour, you only have 300 kilometers of range and not 435. So when you plan with WLTP, it considers that information and it gives incorrect information. As soon as I change to dynamic, then the planner starts giving correct information and very close to the reality. Because as you saw after the charging stop, the car was stating that I would arrive to the destination with 151, something like that, kilometers. And in fact, I arrived with 140 something. So there was a little deviation because, of course, there's a little deviation also on the driving speed and conditions. I know that on 5.6 that it's about to come out on April. There are some changes on the planner itself, on the navigation system. So let's hope it will bring some news and we will test it again. Self-driving system of the car. So I don't think it's still good enough. So it's good, but not a system that you can rely on totally, because it's very conservative, as I said in the video. So every time you have a turn that's a little bit more accentuated, the car brakes. So if you are at 120, it will slow down to 110. Let's not call it brake, because it's not braking, it's slowing down to 110, 105, something like that, and then starts accelerating again. So it's a very bumpy process, okay? So it's not smooth. I hope it will be better now in the new version. On the rest of the things, it does the work. It really does the work. So then there is a very good note to give on this trip, that it was this charging experience. So I am mostly going to charge at home, and until now I only charge at home. But on this time I use these 100 kilowatts, so it is not even the biggest possible charge experience that this car can bring, but it was very nice. So it's not a hassle, it's not a big topic, very good experience. So it was just going there, charging, eating, coming back and driving. So I love that. So this is it. I will now show only the data regarding the calculations on the trip, and that's it. So thank you guys very much again, and I hope that you enjoyed this content. And if you did so, please subscribe, leave the like, and I see you soon. Bye bye.